Hey, Loco sports fans, welcome to another edition of the Loco Sports Lowdown Sunday night edition as we wrap up the 2026 RBC Heritage. Wes was out there, of course. A couple of familiar faces to those who have followed us during Heritage weeks past. Joining us as well, Brian Riedfeld, our resident golf and golf data expert in particular, and Brady Satcha, our former high school intern.
Everyone say it with me, Satcha.
Doing his thing up at South Carolina, putting off studying for finals right now to attend the Heritage today, and then to take part in our final round recap show tonight.
Oh man, I didn't know you were there. I would have said hi. I totally. Yeah, it's Brady. Great to have you back, and we not only we miss you. I'm sure Bluffton misses having you a part of all their athletic events, especially the football team. But yeah, we definitely miss having you as a part of our Lowco team. But great to have you back here today to talk about yet another tremendous finish at this tournament. I mean, this is the fourth time in the last 5 years that we have had a playoff decide the winner of the tournament, and the other one was, of course, that Monday finish. So every Heritage since this signature event, it has been a interesting finish, no matter what has happened. And I mean, I certainly didn't think we'd be talking about a playoff even halfway through this final round, or even halfway through the round with Fitzpatrick and Scheffler.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really did for most of the day, because it was kind of a mundane round for most of the time. Fitzpatrick was just kind of 3-4 shots ahead most of the day, and then all of a sudden at the end it tightened up little by little. I actually almost texted the group when it was when Scheffler got to 17 and said, I think we're going to a playoff, boys. I just started thinking about, like, man, if we get a 2-shot swing on one hole here, then that noose starts to tighten. And I could see it happening, and certainly Fitz kind of choked on 18 the first go around, but he certainly didn't the second time. He hit a heck of a shot in there.
4 irons.
Made the putt, take all the drama out of it. But tremendous round. And Riedfeld, we talked beforehand, and you said you expected it to be a great finish. You weren't sure if Fitzpatrick's just out of this world putting would be able to hold up. But much like yesterday, it wasn't so much the putting as the scrambling. When he got into some situations, he was able to save a lot of pars. But man, Scottie Scheffler was doing the same thing, scrambling all over the place, and it ended up being just a fantastic finish to a great week of golf.
Yeah, I really thought, early on you had Michael Kim with the 62 new course record, and it looked like it was going to be
a stroke off from the course record.
I think 61's course record.
61, which was shared by, I believe, 3 different players, including Frost, alongside Justin Thomas, and another one I
know at least those.
Yeah.
Anyway, 62 from Michael Kim.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a shootout with all the leaders, and it was really just the early guys. Once the wind kicked in the afternoon, and then nobody could make a putt. Like, it was, I don't want to call it boring golf, but I mean, it was a couple pars here, Siwoo Kim, making some birdies, but nobody else. Like, Cantlay was missing 3-foot putts. Scheffler made a putts, but everybody else dropped out, and it looked like it was going to be a snooze fest.
Yeah, and it really was right up until the very end, and that's when things started to come around.
Troy Merritt was the other name I was thinking of.
Merritt, yes. He shot a 59 in Boise, didn't he? Didn't he shoot a 59 in Boise or something?
I'm not sure.
That's a random pull.
Yeah, no. I as someone who got sold in person, it just felt like it seemed like Scottie Scheffler had chance after chance of making that big putt to get himself back in this thing. It was a 4-stroke lead for the majority of the front 9. He got back within 3 at the 9th, and then you just felt like it was coming, but it just never really came. And you started to wonder, is he starting to run out of holes? Is this just too much, too insurmountable against a Matthew Fitzpatrick, who was just nailing all the scrambling, had a really big putt in 11 for a par, and it just seemed like every time that you thought that Scottie Scheffler was going to get back in it and make that putt, either he was unable to do so, or Matthew Fitzpatrick was able to find a way to make that par, and he did a good job for the majority of that round of playing with the lead, I guess, in a way. And Scottie Scheffler was leading runner after runner on base, and it didn't feel like it was going to happen until he finally found it just in time. And that is a Scottie Scheffler that we have seen not just here, but at Augusta recently, just throughout the tour, the no quit mentality and just the ability to make magic happen late in a round when he's not running away from a tournament, kind of like we saw when he won in 24. He's going to stay in contention. It seems like every year that he hasn't won it, he's been able to at least make it interesting. Yeah. And he's able to get that terrific approach shot in 16, and then he's able to do enough to scramble and get that par where Fitzpatrick clunked one and gave him that chance to force a playoff, and then he did. But of course, a great reset by Fitzpatrick and a phenomenal 4-iron about 12 feet from the hole to not put it out of reach, because even after that, Scheffler he made a good chip with any. So if Fitzpatrick had missed that, Scheffler would have had an opportunity to possibly extend. But I think it's more so that Fitzpatrick won the playoff rather than Scheffler lost it, because Scheffler played and bogey-free round. He did not make many clear mistakes. He did not lose this tournament at all. He played a very solid
under par in all 16 rounds he's played.
And Matt, Fitzpatrick just did a little bit better job making big putts early and then throughout the middle of this round, and just doing enough with the lead to maintain it, hold on to it, to get himself into a playoff. Then he was able to bounce back and get the job done. But that's 2 playoffs that Fitzpatrick has won. He's beaten Jordan Spieth, and now he's beaten Scottie Scheffler. So 2 big names that he has defeated in a playoff here at Harbour Town. And it's just a cool story to see someone with so many, ties, early ties to this course, to Harbour Town, to Hilton Head, and his family was there in attendance. You mentioned that in the post round presser, and it was just awesome to see that family environment and his ability to withstand a little bit of adversity late in that round and come back. And he's been a clutch performer at times, and when he is needed to be. Last year he did talk about he fell off a bit in terms of mostly his irons and his approach play. It wasn't compared to what it was in the past, but he's done a good job of his previous form so far this year. And this win will take him, I believe, to number 3 in the world golf ranking. So this, as was talked about again in the press conference, a big time win for Fitzpatrick in the scope of his career, and just goes to show you how big this tournament is in the scope of the best golfers in the world careers now. You talk about Scottie Scheffler getting the win here. You talk about Spieth, how much that win meant to him. He got it a couple years ago. Obviously, the prize money is elevated, but just the spectacle of Harbour Town being able to win here, getting that tartan jacket, it means something to these players. And it's good to see a player like Fitzpatrick embrace that and find a way. And what was another highly competitive tournament that Siwoo Kim was in it right until the end, just couldn't quite get all the way back to where Fitzpatrick was. Cantlay made a decent charge early, but couldn't quite sustain it. And you look at Morikawa, Harris English in a tie for 4th at 13 under, along with Ludwig Oberg, who, classic Oberg in the sense that he's in it until the end, but just can't quite pull it out on a Sunday. And that has been kind of the story of Oberg in the just the PGA Tour throughout his first couple of years as a really prominent player in the tour. And certainly he will have his moments going forward. Excited to watch his game, but once again, this one belonged to Matt Fitzpatrick, and someone who just embraces this course, embraces this area, by the way he plays. And I think this style of play lends well, especially when his shot shaping and his ball striking was as good as it was all weekend. I mean, he had to close it out today, but just some of the big shots he made, especially at the end of the 3rd round with that eagle on 15 and the a couple of big shots earlier on, even before that. And it's, really cool once again to be part of a tournament which is not just huge for us, but such a momentum changer and momentum builder for so many of these winners who, once again, are at the cream of the crop in the world in the sport. And we see it again here with Matthew Fitzpatrick adding himself to the list of two-time winners.
Yeah,
bunch of big-time names
first
as well.
First non-American on that list, 11th multi-time winner, first not from America. And with that, speaking of world-class talent, we welcome in Max Araj. What's up, buddy?
I don't know.
In the wings while Wes did his monologue on the Heritage. And I was waiting for an opening to get Max there. Very well said, Wes, on your filibuster, the filibuster. That's what we'll call it.
I will
it's on one. Yeah.
We'll let you guys talk about what we saw here today, Max. You were overcalling USCB baseball, but certainly you were involved in the group chat as this event wore on,
and
clearly you were watching the broadcast because you and I were picking up on the same things.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I was watching it when I got home. Yeah, I mean, look, Matt Fitzpatrick was the player of the week. He had leads after rounds 2 and 3, came in today. Scottie gave it a run. I mean, that's what you expect out of the number one golfer in the world. You expect him to play his best in the final round and try to make it something interesting. He definitely did. But in the end, I think the best golfer of the week won it. And I think that was Matt Fitzpatrick. I mean, he was really solid through all 4 rounds. I don't think he had a round today. Well, today he hit 70, but pretty much every other week, every other round this week, he's been under 70. So,
it was a conservative. It was a conservative 70. I mean, even though I thought he played, like I said, I thought he came out the way you wanted to. He made a couple of big putts and some birdies early, which is what you wanted to. And you had that 4-stroke lead, and then yes, you were able to play a little bit more conservative golf down the stretch. And credit once again to Scheffler because he made the plays that he needed to make to get back in and eventually force that playoff.
And I think we should remind everyone these two played on Thursday and Friday together, and then played again together on Sunday. So I think Scheffler in round 4, I think he learned a couple things from rounds 1 and 2, watching Fitzpatrick go through his rounds on Thursday and Friday, learned a couple things, made a run on Saturday. He started making some moves to get him in a position to where he came into today and really, really gave Matt and on those final few holes a run for his money. But in the end, Matt got the better of him. Scottie, just that second shot he had on that playoff hole, I'm not sure if the wind caught it or what. He hit it a little too high, but it fell short. I think it probably fell about 40 yards short of the hole. It's
way short.
So I think if that hadn't happened, I think it would have, there would have been a potential where Scottie Scheffler was going to make a run for it. But yeah, look at that. That's insane.
There's your win probability model right there. Look how that shot down very quickly for Fitzpatrick and up for Scheffler.
Good Lord.
But
and it's part of the sport. I mean, and the funniest thing is now is this is 2 years in a row now with a playoff hole.
4 out of the last 5.
4 out of 5. Then the other one was a Monday finish.
and so it's been exciting, and the Heritage has had some exciting finishes over the last 5 years, and it's been really fun to watch. And I think this week and the last 5 years, and really is what's proven to the PGA Tour that this is an event that should stay a signature event for the foreseeable future, because I think it becomes one of the more exciting tournaments on the PGA Tour every year. And I think after, we've mentioned after that COVID year where the first tournament back on the tour schedule during COVID was, of course, the RBC Heritage during the summer. Everybody came back and everybody said, why haven't we been playing at this course? It's literally 2 hours away from Augusta. It's the very next week. All it is a short drive, little fun times after the Masters to relax a little bit, but also, to have what has now been
great test of
over
golf.
the last 5 years a great competition.
Yep. I mean, 2 wins for Fitzpatrick, a win for Spieth, a win for Scheffler, and a win for Justin Thomas. I mean, that is
and Stewart last round.
You look at that list. You look at that list over the last 5 years.
Major champion before that.
Yeah, we are talking about. Well, all of them over the last 5 years have won at least a major title, at least one major title.
6. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's a good run of
that. That is true. Yeah. JT's won one.
Spieth, JT, Fitzpatrick.
Well, starting with Simpson.
And Simpson.
Simpson won the U.S. Open. Yes.
So I mean, like that's a really good string of big time golfers that have won the Heritage over the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, because there was a drought there. Val, do you remember some of those years? Jose Caceres, and
even the Kodaira,
Kodaira,
there were
CT Pan,
and Boo Weekly. This decade has been much different.
Boo won twice, and by the end of that run, Boo was a star,
folk hero,
because that Ryder Cup made him.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, that's right.
But honestly, like by the end of the first one, he was a star at Harbour Town. That
was the year with the heavy winds and the Monday finish.
That was the year. That's when I actually got to be to the stage that like Boo would say, like you and me are friends. Like he'd say, like, yeah, me and him are friends, like you and me are friends, and I got real I still consider his mom, Patsy, to be a friend. But Boo was just the greatest. I mean, that year that we got winded out, Boo was just sitting up there in the rocking chair, dipping his mouth and just telling stories, and people were just gathered around him, and he was just telling stories along the practice green.
And great moments.
And I just got sucked in, and I just fell in love with that dude. I was just thinking about him the other day because Jim Nantz brought him up. But no, Boo was a no name the first time he won it, but it kind of launched him to some level of fame, and certainly he was a hero when he came back here. They loved that man.
They loved him.
But no, it's been a really good run after a kind of, like I said the other night, there were years where you'd be breaking down the field and trying to hype it up, and you'd go, all right, let's see how many of the top 10. Ooh, maybe top 20. Ooh, maybe top 50. Maybe top. Okay, yeah, no, that's more respectful. 37 out of the top 100. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah. But I mean, look where it is now. I mean, in a matter of 6 years, look where it is. We are talking about 18 of the top 20 golfers in the world were here this week. That is something I don't know if I was ever expecting to see in my time, of 25 years being around or at the Heritage for the last 25 years of my life. Yeah. I'd never expected to say these past 5-6 years that we would be talking about major champions winning and competing at the RBC Heritage year in and year out.
Yeah, when you were growing up for a few years there'd be like 3, 4, 5 groups come through that you didn't really know who those guys were, and then I know this guy, but it's definitely not like that anymore. They're all household names now. Sachi knew all of them because he was trying to collect all their autographs. But those days are in the past. You were there as a spectator today, and you're a working journalist these days up at the state and freelancing for folks around Columbia. But what was your perspective on the tournament this year? I know you got to be out there a good bit, and certainly you have as much history with this tournament as any of us. You've spent a lot of time at Harbour Town over the years.
Yeah, I mean, my mom said it this weekend. She said, you've been here 19 years, and I'm 19 years old. So it's funny to think about. And just today in general, we walked down to 18 after that final group made the turn, and you could feel the wind. We were sitting right around where everybody was laying up their approach shots, and saw Gary Woodland make that amazing.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
That was so much fun to watch. And
that's cool.
It's been an incredible month for him after his interview after the Players, and then obviously winning the Valero, getting into the Masters, and finishing off this week with the bang.
What a tremendous story. I mean, I'm just so happy for him. What a great way to, obviously he didn't get the win, but what a terrific way to end that tournament for him with just a magical shot there at 18, and that is something that one shot that he will remember for the rest of his career. Especially, you look at the journey that he went on. Of course, I remember when he won that U.S. Open at Pebble a couple years ago, and then he just had some a rough situation happening to him, but getting back on the course and not just competing, but competing very well in this tournament, and then getting that hole out, finished him in the top 10, which is pretty awesome. I mean, in terms of prize money, and getting the top 10 in this tournament will net you a big payday.
Yeah, I was just looking at what that netted him.
Let's see, where did he finished? I'll tell
you,
he finished
200,000.
T8, or T8 is where he finished with four.
Right, it made him. I was just looking at the tie table. It probably made him about $200,000 extra that whole out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Bad. Good.
Must be useful.
Yeah. But no, Sasha, you were. I was watching the broadcast, and Nance was kind of like, "What in the world?" And I was too, because I'd never seen him do this. So after the leaders went through, or after the final group went through, the security just let the crowd just bum rush the fairway and crowd up around the green. And I'm thinking, like, what if they go to a playoff?
Yeah, it was
right. Well, they had to clear out. They had to clear out the fairway, and that's
did.
what exactly happened. And then they did again. They let him go out again.
They've never let
in
him do that
the playoff as well. That is something I have not seen happen here
ever
in the past.
Not on Toby McSwain's watch, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know if Steve Wilmot got the call from Brian Rolap to let him do it, but
is that something that has been like happening across the tour as well, just like in other tournaments?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe some of the old hardliners like Slugger.
Yeah, I mean that's stuff like that happened way like ancient history where
I mean, but
here's the other, able to do that.
They didn't let us do that on the Monday finishes, man. They're like, no, stay behind them ropes.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
But no, that was crazy, and you were part of that mob,
right?
That. You were out in the middle of the fairway.
I was out there.
Fantastic.
It was
because they didn't do that last year when JT and Scottie.
No, that did not happen last year.
How were they able to get y'all back in order?
I was at the 18th and they didn't do that. So
I want to hear from Brady though how they herded the cats back.
So basically, they let us out there as soon as like Scheffler and Fitzpatrick got up to the green, and then kind of herded us basically about 30 yards away from the green, keeping a safe space between the players. And
like all of a sudden I was in a mob rush on
yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I was still about probably 220 yards out. Then I start seeing this crowd. I'm like, okay, this is new. I'm going to go try to be a part of it. And then Scheffler hits his chip, taps in for par. And then everybody's like, well, what's going to happen now? I started hearing, what about if it's a playoff? What's going to happen?
Well,
and then Fitzpatrick hits his chip a little short, and he's still got about 20 feet. And then I start seeing people start running back up 18 to get a good spot.
Now, here's the deal. I'm not sure if everyone knew about it, but I think I was originally correct on the playoff format. It changed this year. It is 18 on repeat for as long as it takes.
Really?
But 18 on repeat. But the whole location, if they went past the second playoff hole, they would change the pin placements.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I heard that.
Yep.
So yeah, traditionally for as long as I can remember, it's been 18, 17, 18. And we've seen it go to
that's what it's
through that before. But so we were speculating about that. But then I heard on the broadcast, I could hear on the tee, they were talking to the players and they said, we're going to stay here at 18 until it's settled. So clearly, and they mentioned that if we go to If we play it for a third time, we will change hole locations, which is wild. Yeah. Somebody's gonna run out there and cut a new hole.
Could you imagine though? The crowds would go crazy for the guy coming out and changing.
Oh God, yeah. They would, because they were over served at that point. But Riefeld, you've been sitting on your tongue over there, and you keep looking at your monitor, so I know you're crunching the numbers. What do you have for us?
No, I was just again kind of shocked that nobody made a run. I was really hoping we would have 3, 4, 5-man playoff and just some more theatrics. Yeah, it looked like Siwoo. He just couldn't make anything coming down. 16, 17, 18 there, and yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I'm a little disappointed with some of the big guys. I did pick Fitzpatrick to win this week, so I was pretty pumped on that. It helped out the bank account as well, so that's always good.
Hey, yeah.
But yeah, it was. It'll be interesting if I'm hoping Fitzpatrick has finally won over the crowd. The whole USA thing is
it's terrible. A little Ryder Cup-esque at the end.
It was a little Ryder Cup-esque, but I
Satcha, you did say you're a red-blooded American man. You may have been chanting USA.
I will not confirm or deny anything.
I'm not down with it. I'm not down with the jingoism. I love Fitz.
I'm just saying that American. There's national pride on both sides.
Exactly.
There's national pride on both sides of it, and I think it fuels the fanhood for the United States fans rallying behind that, and I think it fueled Fitzpatrick. I think his celebration was like the celebration. It wasn't a flashy celebration, but he made a gesture after he made that putt, from what I saw.
I'm sorry, what was that now? What?
Did he make a gesture?
What I saw something about that.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If they don't know the story of Fitzpatrick by now, he has been coming to the Heritage for years. When he was a kid, he was coming over to England for vacation, would come to the RBC Heritage, So when he
said, this is a great quote on this subject. Sorry, but he said, "It means the world. This is a tournament I wanted to win growing up, arguably more than any of the majors before I understood about the game."
And it goes to show how much he wanted to be a part of this tournament, and winning it twice now.
But I'm with you, Max. Like, he's more of a hometown guy at this tournament than Scottie is in real life. Like he's a hometown kid, more or less. He's got the Harbortown Lighthouse on his head cover.
But here's the other thing, Justin. It's the same thing when he and Jordan Spieth went into a playoff hole. Everybody loves Jordan Spieth here at Harbortown.
Yeah.
Every year, it's like and Jordan Spieth has mentioned it before about how the fans really, really hone into him when he's here in Harbortown. And it was kind of that same thing. They were all for Jordan Spieth to win it, and then Matt Fitzpatrick comes in with the upset to win his first RBC Heritage title. So I mean, it's just, it is what it is. But I feel like fans have to get around him now that he's a 2-time RBC Heritage champ. You can't deny it. He's I mean, especially with how he's been playing this year, it's definitely something special.
Yep. So what Fitzpatrick did, it was a little. I saw on social media when I got home, but it was a little gesture of a "we can't hear you" kind of thing after he made that last
he gave him the,
what's that?
Gave him the WWE heel.
Yeah.
Love it. Right. Love it. Fitz has a baby on the way too, so that's
something about it, man. There's something about it. I mean, Jordan Spieth's first win as a father, Justin Thomas's first win as a father. Fitzpatrick's about to be a father. It could have been Scheffler's first win as a father if the baby.
Well, Scheffler, remember, Scheffler was he was becoming a father when he won it a couple years ago.
That's right.
He was on baby watch that whole time, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, it's happened a lot. Brant Snedeker was in the same boat.
Yeah.
It's happened a ton of times over the years, and I think I actually wrote a column about it at one time about how something about the the solemnity of that moment and just like something helps them like click. And I think it's perspective, like just putting things in perspective. And and understanding that like, oh, this is my job, this is how I provide for my family, and that's now more important. So I need to go to work. There's something that happens there. I am confident about that. But Fitzpatrick, great history here. Grew up vacationing here. Famously has the Lighthouse head cover. He's definitely a local favorite, and certainly will continue to be so now with 2 titles and a young guy. You'd have to think that there's a real good chance that he could win here again.
No doubt. The way that he's, the way that he is. I mean, just 31, so he still has a lot of prime left in his career, and he seems like that kind of guy. You know, we talked about how good Davis Love was for so long, and you know, certainly it shows up in how many Heritage titles he has. But someone who just loved playing here, someone who embraced playing here, and someone who always found a way to be in the mix a lot more years than not. That's the same true as Fitzpatrick is now, and If I was going to wager on if he would win another Heritage, I would think be more confident that he will win one more at least than he won't. Now that he is 2, I just think that he not only he loves playing here, but he knows how to win here, and he's at least going to be in contention for a couple more tournaments, if at least that. And
well, I mean, if he keeps playing like this, he's someone to keep an eye on for the U.S. Open.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he won.
I mean, he's
already won a U.S. Open. Obviously, the PGA's next month. He'd love to get a second major.
He's on a heater right now.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah,
I mean, he is. I mean, he finished second at the Players. He finished first at the Valspar. Then he tied for 18th at the Masters, but actually had a pretty good tournament, all things considered. And then, finished his first here at the Heritage. So over the last month and a half or so, he's really been on one as of late. And if he keeps this going, I think he's found his short game as well. His short game he's really honed in his short game lately. So if he can keep this going, he's going to be someone to definitely keep an eye on for of course the PGA Championship and of course the U.S. Open this summer.
We had a couple of big time putts this week, and I look at that. Of course the fortuitous 30+ foot putt on 14 or earlier in the week. But then there were a couple other spots where he drained some lengthy putts at opportune times, and that is what it takes to win a golf tournament like that. His short game stays the way that it is right now. I got to think he's going to be in the mix at every major the rest of this year, and he's going to be a factor in the rest of the season. I mean, just a tremendous talent and someone who has been able to bring it to here in Harbortown and showcase it at a high level, and the ties that he has this era has just made it that extra special for him to win here not once but now twice.
So I was just reading through Fitzpatrick's presser transcript. He had some good ones, but I liked on the subject of the chanting, the USA stuff. He said it didn't get out of line in terms of no one was shouting on backswings or anything like that, which was great. I'm all for it. I love the people. They're supporting Scottie. That's great. You want golf to have an atmosphere, in my opinion. I grew up watching football, meaning soccer, of course. I paid so much money to be out there in front of those crowds. Having them chanting at you every week is a great feeling. Right. However, there's no better feeling than coming out on top against that.
Yeah, he was talking about what they call in soccer, football, an away win or something like that. That's what he compared it to in the press conference.
And then somebody brought it back up.
No one's better than the British when it comes
to brought it back up and said, non-Ryder Cup year, did you find it strange? He said, no, Americans are incredibly patriotic, and I think that was amazing. I guess the only issue is they just have shorter memories because we won in October.
Oh man, yeah, he was great in the presser. I mean, funny, but also delivered some great lines, and just a witty guy and a fun guy to be a part of. To witness his career. Just really awesome stuff from Fitzpatrick, and he's gained my respect. He already has gained my respect, but more so just being a part of the proceedings today. Great guy, great golfer, and a great ambassador and competitor in this game that I hope he'll be part of it for decade plus going forward. I think that kind of longevity.
I think the other thing is the way he made his name known on the PGA and the golf world when he won that major. What was it? U.S. Open?
22 U.S. Open.
Yeah, 22 U.S. Open, where everybody was like, where'd this kid come from? Like just, one of those things. And then he kept it going. He kept.
No, right after he almost won here, and then the year after he won here.
Yeah,
in 23.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, like he's here. He's not going anywhere. He's been fantastic, and I agree with Wes. He's been a great ambassador for the sport, and I think he will continue to be that way. I can't wait to see him win a Masters. I think that's going to be. I think that's the next thing on the list is to pick up a Masters, which I think he's getting close to it. I think he can do it. So if he can keep playing like this throughout another year or so, I'm
sure he'd love to win the Open as well, which will be at St. Andrews, I think, this year.
Yes, it will. Yeah, will it? It is at St. Andrews.
I think so. I believe it will be. 2026 Open Championship. Royal Burkdale. Sorry, I believe the next year maybe it was every 5 years. It was every like 5 and then something changed. But yeah, it's Royal Burkdale. Sorry, but I'm sure it will be at St. Andrews soon again.
Yeah.
But regardless,
just saw something
that he would love to win, being a native of England.
Yeah. What were you saying, Sacha?
I saw something where he actually admitted to pulling his 4-iron a little bit on the playoff hole.
Yeah.
Guess he was aimed a little farther right than he wanted.
Did you send us that, Wes?
Did I send what?
Something from the presser where he said that he pulled it a little bit.
He was talking about that last shot on that 4 or that last approach shot to win it, to set up the winning putt. From what I saw, what I heard at the post-game or the post-round press conference.
Yeah, here it is. He said, "I'll be honest, I pulled it a little bit. We had the commentary booth in the background. That was like our target. So that was probably right half of the green, right edge maybe. But it was such a great number for 4-iron, and it's the only round all week we've had 4-iron in the bag. No, maybe first round, but didn't even hit a shot with it first round. From Dan, just so aware of what's going on with the win. I don't know. He kind of got off on one, but yeah, he pulled it.
That win definitely played a factor.
The win certainly increased as today went, and we told you it was going to be a factor last night that the win changed directions from what it was at least yesterday, and we kind of saw it was a factor for some players.
I mean, if you saw Justin and I, we saw the shot trackers from when they were teeing off on the 18, and that ball was just kept curving.
Now, if you remember correctly, he found that first drive at 18 in regulation. He missed the fairway. And how often do you see players miss the fairway on 18? How big that fairway is. Not only missed the fairway, he was in the sand. And
Siwa was up where I always hit it, up by the condos.
That was about 10 feet away from me.
Yeah, Siwa was way over there. That's where I usually go because I ain't going right near that sound. Aim over this.
Justin and I saw it when he hit it. You could hear him. He was like, "Oh my God, what did I just do?" Yeah. It was just one of those shots where he was like, "Oh crap," when he hit it. So,
but how about speaking of crap, man, our boy Brian Harmon had a rough one today.
Oh my God,
he got off.
It hurt to see that for him after it's tough with the high stakes of prize money in this tournament. Still taking a good payday, but had a chance to be in contention into Sunday, and it's tough to see. It just never went his way today. Yeah, and there were certainly some things that he did from what I heard from you, because I went and jumped on Scheffler and Fitzpatrick because they were really the only two left in contention. I guess Si Woo was in there as well, but once Harmon fell off, it wasn't looking good for either of them. But I heard from you there were some interesting things that happened midway through that round with Harmon.
Yeah, and I didn't. It was hard to tell exactly what was going on. I was listening, but not really watching at the time. But Nance and the broadcasters were talking about that when he started going sideways on 7, I think is when it started. He was talking with people in the gallery, like talking with spectators, jawing perhaps, and then he yanked one out of bounds on 8, and then it just started unraveling. And then, of course, the broadcast didn't really pay much attention to him from then on because he was kind of out of contention. But yeah, it sounded like he had the red ass for the final round today. So it would have been an entertaining watch if you were following Brian Harman today. It didn't seem like he was having
it's never Brian Harman's fault. We've learned that over the years.
Yeah.
And Max Homa had a sweet tomahawk in the early round today. He launched his I believe it was like an 8 iron or so. Yeah. Can't remember which hole it was. It was 13, 14. No, 15. It was on 15, the par 5. Yeah. And this is after a week after talking about how, they look like spoiled brats.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
throw clubs and break clubs. And
he said like bad legit luck when he did it.
So, yeah, the course got a few of the guys today.
Yeah. Harbortown, Harbortown heard that the course records.
Right. We thought that, maybe Fitzpatrick would have had a chance. But the wind certainly, was different, not only the different direction, but showed its teeth at times, especially late. And Fitzpatrick, even though he played a good conservative round and certainly could have gone even worse or could have gone worse for him, he was able to do enough. But yeah, we did think that he had a decent chance at having that mark of 20 under, but he finished at minus 18. But end of the day, he takes home the tartan jacket. So no, he got it done, which is the most important part for him. But yeah, I guess the point is that the conditions really showed up today on a Sunday, which it's always fun to see because you want to see a competitive course. And
I feel like in the past it's shown up on a Sunday.
For sure.
On Sundays, it's usually
the pins obviously are different on Sundays, but they're also yeah. But normally the Sunday pins are the most challenging pins in any tournament. But there's also the.
How did he think that was going to work?
What was he expecting to do? He barely touched it.
What a half-assed little shot. That wasn't going to work.
Like, what was he thinking? Exactly what was he thinking?
That stuff's so fluffy, man. You got no chance in that. Plus, there's roots. There's roots in it. That's a terrible place to be.
Yes.
It is a terrible place to be, but he didn't really give much effort into it either, did he? Like
I've only played like maybe 5-6 rounds on Harbortown, but I've hit at least like 24
I remember
shots.
I just remember the stories of media day when I played it a couple of years back. We found our way there at least once, maybe more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, which hole is this? Is this on
probably
2
15.
or 15?
I think that was on 15.
Okay, yeah, I played 15, I usually played it all the way up through there on 15. The whole hole was native area.
By the way, is that sand area on 18 new this year? I feel like I haven't seen that sand area that Fitzpatrick hit into on the 18th.
In the front
playoff hole.
Yeah.
Is that new this year? Because I feel like I haven't seen it. I'm trying to think.
Like that native area?
Native sand area on 18.
On 18
right
that shot that Fitzpatrick hit that ended up
that's always been like that.
Has it always been there? Okay.
I guess mostly just because the
widest fairway on tour. I'm sure people miss it.
Yeah. Well, they never hit it that far right.
It's such a wide fairway.
I mean, you could usually, you stand there and you don't see a ball come anywhere near you all day, ordinarily.
I guess
but that wind was blowing so hard, and it was
blowing,
knocking everything. If it was cutting to the right at all, it just took it.
And you didn't really want to risk hitting it left because you just didn't know how hard that wind was blowing and if it was going to land there. So,
I mean, it's a pretty decent poke to clear it. So, I mean, under ordinary circumstances, it's not a problem, but with that wind, you don't know. And you saw the way that Scheffler's second shot got chewed up in the wind.
Golly, did it? It just bit it.
Something else. Other thoughts, gentlemen?
No, just a great win by Fitzpatrick. And
yeah, I like Fitz. I was kind of pulling for Fitz.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, great guy, just a fun competitor, someone that you just have the excitement to root for, not just because he's a Hilton Head guy like he's been here in the past, but he just has some terrific vibes all around. He's such a competitive player. He can get those juices flowing at any moment. He's been a great rival to many in this age of golf, including, he's beaten Spieth in this playoff. He's beaten Scheffler, as we said, but he just has that swagger to him, that excitement with his game, a great mix of ball striking approach to his game, and he's got a strong putting prowess as well that showed up really at big time points in this tournament. And he's all in all just a really fun and exciting player on tour, which I really hope this can springboard him into a really successful season, more so than he's ever had, because the way he's been playing, you mentioned it, Max, the run of finishes that he has come up with this year on tour, you hope this translates into some big success the rest of the majors this year.
Hey, he's got 2 PGA Tour wins this year. That's more than he's had an entire season of golf that he's played. So, I mean, he's certainly figured out something that's clearly working for him this year. And it's not even just those 2 first-place finishes he's had on the PGA Tour. He's
4 PGA Tour victories.
Finished second at the Players, finished 18th at the Masters. Like, he's had some really good opportunities, and he's already picked up 2 wins, and that puts him at, I believe, 4 wins on the tour in his career. So, I mean, he's 2
of them being the Heritage, the other 2, the Valspar in earlier this year, and of course the U.S. Open.
A bunch of international wins
in 22. Yes, he does. He's had a couple of other event victories on the European tour, but certainly he has made his splash. 2 of his 4 wins coming here at Harbortown. That means something to golf fans here to have his name's ingrained on such an important juncture of his career, now twice winning this event, but also having another, as I said, major champion. And just crazy to think about all these guys who have won it in this stretch are major champions. It goes back to the sense that this is a big time event. I mean, it's a signature event for a reason. If you're the PGA Tour, how can you take that status away from Harbortown right now?
I've been thinking about that too, and I do think one factor working in our favor as far as the argument for keeping it a signature event is that I do think that coming on the heels of the Masters, if you're trying to create viewer habits, then you need to get people in the habit of watching golf, right? So if they come to it for the Masters, or maybe they start revving up, maybe the Players gets their attention, right? And then they watch up through the Masters, and then if you can keep them for the next couple of weeks, then that's a habit now, and maybe you've got a weekly viewer. So I think that may be one thing that works in their favor. But then, next week you got the team event in New Orleans. Super appealing.
And
they're talking.
I hope it stays signature.
I'm not a big fan of
no, it's janky. But I hope we stay signature. What do you think, Reed? You think we'll stay signature?
I think there's an expiration date for sure. There's a new commissioner. They've already talked about limiting the signature events. I also think PGA Tour's got some limited money. I don't think, they're crushing it. Don't get me wrong, but the $20 million purses and all that are great, but they've already come out and said the signature events are going to be modified. And whether that means like spreading the wealth or starting to limit those to fewer events each year, at some point, I think we're safe. Like, remember, Justin, I mean, you and I remember when it was a little dicey there when, we had the state of South Carolina sponsor us, and
yeah, that's right.
Now,
we were on the cusp. Right, and
there have been
RBC,
some
came
rumors
in.
about the future of the PGA Tour that they could eventually do away with signature events and having just all the tournaments provide a good amount of prize money, which obviously would be bigger than this pre-era of what it has been before. The elevated status may not be as big as it is now, but still a significant prize money to get golfers coming back for this event. And from the names who have won this tournament, I mean, I think that even if they do, I don't think it's going to go back to what it was before this. I think that you're still going to get a good amount of the top 25 golf. I just think from the run that you have had and the success of this tournament, I think it's something that can be sustained and built upon. And it's great to see after there have been years where we were nowhere near where we are right now,
or even to the point where we didn't know if there was going to be another RBC Heritage. Right. I mean, there was a time when that was a reality, where, like y'all said, the state of South Carolina was basically funding to make sure the RBC Heritage kept going for at least another year until you found a new sponsor. So, I mean, that's we have seen the reality of there was potentially a time when the RBC Heritage may not come back, and now we're talking about the fact of, again, they've talked about limiting either the money side of things for the signature event, or just limiting the amount of signature events during the tour season. And I think if that's the case, I would make I think the RBC Heritage can make a bid if they decide to limit the amount of events. You would think the RBC Heritage would be on that short list to keep that title of signature events, but you just never know. So that's the unfortunate side.
Yeah, I agree. There's going to be some change coming, and especially with the word coming that Live is basically tits up.
Pretty much.
That was part of the impetus for the move to the signature events, was to try to keep guys from being lured by the blood money. But that's kind of out of the picture now. So now they can go back to taking advantage, because they're back to a monopoly. So they can milk them for everything they're worth now. No,
I do hope they bring the cut. I do hope we stop with 82 or 80 person field, like bring back the cut. I think I
like the cut.
I do like the cut. Added some more drama to it, and I think that if they do away with the signature events, I would assume that they would bring the cut back and expand the field by at least a couple 10, 20.
Well, and I think if you're going to keep signature events around, keep it around, but have that cut as well. Like make it.
That was part of the definition.
Yeah, that was why the reason of the signature events was
signature event is not a thing. They just made
they made it up because that was
if we are bringing all of these live players back, if that happens to be the case, you're going to have more players that are sitting in contention. And so I think if the idea of the signature event continues to go on, you're going to have the problematic.
Look, they're going to have to reconfigure everything, honestly, because
also there are reports that the 2027 PGA Tour schedule and the season could start right after the Super Bowl instead of in January when it starts.
I always thought that would make more sense.
Yeah, I do think they had, like the week after New Year's usually start now. It seems like it's cool, but it seems early, especially with football season still going on.
Well, it's silly season anyway, though, right? It's like the tournament of champions and the Hawaii stuff. But I don't know. There's going to be a lot of changes, though, because they're going to have to reconfigure the whole. Look, you put all these live people back in the mix. How are you qualifying them? We doing Q school for them? Like, what? How do they? With the way status works now, it's much more complicated than it used to be in a lot of ways. Where do they fit into that? They're going to have to reconfigure a lot of stuff about what that looks like. And I think you'll get your cuts back, Reed, because I think they're going to have expanded fields. You're going to have more people playing.
Right. We go back to the 100+ fields that were there in the past.
So I don't know, man. It's going to be a time of upheaval. Certainly. But what do you think about the bed sheet golf, as Kornheiser calls it, the golf league, TGL? You guys watch that?
I do watch it.
I like it.
I tuned in, and I thought it was enjoyable. In a period of time where
Reed's like,
it was the kind of build up to the major season, and I think I liked the fact that it was different, and it kind of was a good spin on the normal game of golf. And
it's more of a hang.
I love the
More
team
of a
event.
hang than
I think team events are good for
tickets,
golf
though.
because they really, how fun the Ryder Cup is because
Yeah.
Ryder Cup's different, but like just the fact that you're playing team events in golf, because you obviously don't want to let your team down because they have like singles at the end of these events, and like you got to put your team on your back, and I think it adds a fun spin on the normal individual stroke play. And
I'm just
I
fascinated.
think
I'm fascinated by the technology behind it. I just that
I don't know
green
if I
that they
trust
use,
it, though.
that green that they use, that they change
It's
it
cool.
around and all that stuff.
It's
It's
cool.
kind of
It's
crazy.
wild. The green's amazing. I gotta admit that.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a marketing the players opportunity.
Yeah.
To market the players.
I mean, I like it.
Tickets
I'm
to go out
more
there?
for it than I'm against it.
Yeah, it's not for me, but I know
Tickets
it's
are
not for me. It's for the
expensive.
diehard golf fan who needs,
especially
to
the younger crowd. I think
$500 a ticket.
Yeah,
I think it has that. I feel like it appeals more to the younger golf fans than the older ones.
yeah,
Like us, Brady.
definitely.
Yeah,
the
that's what
younger
it's all
golf fans
about.
the younger golf fans would pay $500 a ticket to show up and watch them play Tiger Woods
Actual
PGA Tour 2008.
Well, that's what it kind of is with the simulator. It kind of
I
has
know.
that feel.
That's what I'm saying. They'd
Right.
show up to watch them play Wii golf because they go on the internet and watch people play video games all the time. But all right, any other thoughts about this year's Heritage?
Oh, I think I'm all caught up with that.
All right. Well, thank you, fellas, for joining us. Thanks to our sponsors, Mickelson Law Firm. Yeah, let me shout out sponsors. The Mickelson Law Firm and WHHI TV are all-star sponsors and presenting sponsors of the LowcoSports Lowdown. And then we've got Hudson Seafood House on the docks, great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus on the Lowco Media Network, as well as Twinge and Twombly, personal injury attorneys in Beaufort, with the rare name and remarkable service at Twinge and Twombly. HHI Windows and Doors, improving your view of the Lowco. Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. And Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. And they got a big event coming up at Reverence next weekend. They've got a tournament over there, Greco and freestyle. So you wrestlers, check it out on the Reverence Wrestling Club page and see if you can get registered for that event. All right, parting thoughts, gentlemen. Another Heritage in the books. Let's start with our guest, Brady Sacha. What you got, buddy?
I'd put money on a playoff next year.
Yeah.
Well, pretty solid.
If I was the betting man, but I also wanted to add.
It's a good bet.
Yeah. During the Players, actually, Brian Rolap did his whole spiel, and he talked about the future, and he mentioned that in 2028 he's kind of gonna want to restructure it, talking about having almost like how they do in Europe with soccer, having a promotion and relegation. Yeah, and having the top level be 21 to 26 of these signature events, but that'll be interesting to see what the purse is for those, and then the lower level will be the second tier, larger 120 player field. So it'll be interesting to see where Harbor Town winds up on that list and what that looks like here in about a few years.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Brian Riedfeld, what you got, buddy?
The course was great. I got to do some caddying out there on Wednesday, and the greens were super firm for being, brand new and renovated. The bunkers, I was a little bit, wishy-washy with Davis Love coming in, but he did a really good job. I mean, all the bunkers looked amazing. The new bunker on number 2 is fantastic. I was pulling for Fitzpatrick. I think he fits us perfectly, and I think we got a good champion.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Everybody had rave reviews about the course renovation. Fitzpatrick he said he was a little anxious about it to play it for the first time because he's like, it's my favorite golf course. And, when they renovate your favorite golf course, it makes you a little nervous. But, man, he just raved about it. And obviously he enjoyed playing it this week. But Davis Love has turned into a pretty good golf course guy, it seems.
Yeah.
They love him at Sea Pines, that's for sure. 5-time champ. Max, what do you got for a parting thought?
Well, apart from the RBC Heritage, some other golf going on right now, including the Peach Belt Conference Championships are currently underway. They started today, round number 1 for both the men's and women's down in St. Augustine, Florida, at the King and Bear course over at the what is it, World Golf Village, I think is what it's called. First round underway it is finished. It finished this afternoon. So rounds 2 and 3 are tomorrow and on Tuesday. Women's is sitting in a position. I don't know if they're going to get out of it. Sitting 5th right now out of 7 teams. Currently 31 overall, 31 over for the first round as a team. They struggled quite a bit today. And then on the other hand, the men's team finished really strong in round number 1. They're sitting just, I think, about 6 shots behind first, sitting in sole possession of second place through round 1. Really good showing for USCB men's golf. So they're going to look and try and see if they can catch up with Georgia Southwestern. By the way, didn't know if y'all knew this, but USCB men's golf ranked 18th in the country in Division II golf. And with where they're sitting right now in region rankings, I believe they have already at least somewhat secured a bid to the NCAA tournament because they are currently sitting, I think, top 6 in the region rankings. So they have a very good chance of being in as an at-large bid. But if they do win the Peach Belt Conference champion, they'll get in as an automatic bid. So we'll see what they can do. But either way, they are sitting in a really good spot with a shot of making their first ever NCAA tournament as a golf program. So that's very exciting to see. And then the last thing I want to say, and I really don't want to talk about this, but I kind of have to, USCB baseball struggled again today. I don't know what to say about it. It's what it is. They gave up 55 runs
tough
this
conference.
weekend.
Yep. Tough conference, but certainly
55 runs.
They
55 burgers, 50 fries.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, I know that this team, obviously they were kicked out of playoff contention this past weekend, but they came in this weekend, and they just weren't there. The offense didn't score many runs. I mean, throughout that entire series, they had 9 runs this weekend compared to the 55 that Lander had. So, I mean, that's just where USCB baseball is at. But they got to get themselves put together because they have a big series coming up next weekend. They have the week off, but they'll be playing at home against Middle Georgia. I'm sure Wes will be on the call for that one.
They'll wrap up their season this next weekend, and a good rivalry closed out. So
it'll be a big weekend at Richard Gray because not only is USCB
softball, big softball series as well. Senior weekend for both, senior day weekend for both softball and baseball.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Softball, on the other hand, I think you probably guys mentioned it yesterday. Softball got the series win over Augusta, so they are currently sitting tied for 6th with USC Aiken, which coincidentally is their final series of the season before a conference tournament begins.
They're looking good. I mean, in terms of right now they're 9-12. Flagler would be 9th to 6 and 15. So. They're in good shape to at least especially because you got Georgia Southwestern is in last place in the conference who you're playing next. So that should be a fun final weekend for USCB softball.
Series,
as they'll try to.
We'll see what USCB softball can do, but nonetheless, they're sitting in a really good spot right now. So they have a very good chance over these next 2 weekends to punch their ticket into the Peach Belt Conference Championship tournament. So it should be very interesting to see how they do over these next 2 weekends. And then finally, I want to say happy birthday to my dad as he's celebrating his birthday today, and which is the reason why I'm about to get off of this show and let you guys finish it out. Again, great weekend at the RBC Heritage, not so much in Hardyville at Richard Gray, but it was a good weekend out in Augusta for USCB softball. So we'll see how both teams can handle next weekend against Middle Georgia and Georgia Southwestern.
I look forward to it.
Right on, man. Happy birthday, Pops. See you, Max.
Later, guys. Have a good one.
Wesker, parting thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I want to use my my parting thoughts to say a very special thank you to everyone who volunteered, helped out, made this tournament the amazing one that it is every single year. The marshals who always had great interactions with us, the spectators, and always fun to hear what they have to say. And I found out today they got to keep the quiet please signs that they show off, which are so important for all the proceedings in this tournament. It's kind of a nice keepsake, a reward souvenir kind of thing. That's pretty cool. So a very special thank you to the marshals. A thank you as well to the amazing people who help design the incredible golf course that is Harbortown Golf Links, and continue to keep it at the utmost shape, and it looks even pristine as it was last year. And we say that every year, but all the maintenance supervisors, everyone who is hard at work, which is a process that starts from the Monday after the Heritage all the way to right before the tournament. We thank them as well, and to all the volunteers who make this tournament possible, including some of our very own people, Hilton Head Highland, Seahawk, teachers, students, Bluffton Bobcats, students, teachers. I saw Coach Hayden Gregory the other day. I saw some football. I always see some Bluffton football players there. A ton of Hilton Head Seahawk students helping out. And I think that is what makes this tournament very special, is to see everyone playing a part, pitching in. The Heritage Classing Foundation, how important it is for the community and the scholarships it awards. All of that relies on the success of this tournament, and it's just awesome to see everyone pitching and helping out, and the fundraising that this tournament does, that's so impactful and helps our community year in and year out. And another successful tournament all the way around. So thank you to everyone who did their part this weekend to make the RBC Heritage another success here in 2026, and already looking forward to the 2027.
Absolutely. I have nothing that would add to that. That was a nice way to end things. So thanks so much for joining us tonight. Thanks to all of our sponsors who make it possible. Thanks to you for showing up to listen or watch. Thank you, Rietveld and Sacha, old characters coming back to the Lowco universe. We appreciate you. For Brian Rietveld, Brady Sacha, Max Raj, you already pieced out, and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. We'll be back with you this week to catch you up on all the high school sports action happening around the Lowco and get you ready for the spring sports postseason. So until then, go Lowco.